Hi, my name is Nic Miner, the executive casino host at Seven Feathers in Canyonville, Oregon. To give you an idea of what our property looks like, we have 913 machines. Between the two hotels, we have 374 rooms and a top-rated RV park with 182 spots. So we have a pretty big volume and one of the most top-rated casinos in Oregon. So life before Trio 360 was very different. Promoting events, we would do it by mailers, by calling, cold calls, started setting up text campaigns one by one and texting them out to guests or emails, or simply word of mouth, seeing them in person. As far as changes that needed to be made, it was all hands on deck. All the hosts had to get together and just go through one by one and call all of our guests one by one and let them know, hey, there's a big change going on. And also just as far as management and transparency, like how to be able to see what our hosts are saying to our guests, it's a much more difficult back before Trio, because if you wanted to touch base to see like, hey, like what kind of engagement are hosts having with our high value players, there's not an easy method of doing that. I mean, sure, you can go through an IT and like see what things are being said to them, but it was a much more difficult process. But all of that's changed with Trio in a huge way. Since installing Trio 360, it's definitely changed our day-to-day functions. Before, it was pretty difficult to balance making sure we maintain a strong relationship with all of our guests, but also take care of all the guests that are on the floor, actually on site. Now it makes it so easy so that I can actually leave the office because I'm not bogged down with all the administrative stuff, so I can go out and hunt for those new guests and engage with them while also taking care of all of our guests. Trio 360 has also done something really interesting. As a host, you sacrifice some of your personal life. That's something that's just part of the package deal. When your phone rings, you answer it. You always want to take care of your guests. The one thing that Trio 360 has done is allow you to share that responsibility with the rest of the hosts so that when you're off, they can take care of it seamlessly to actually give you time off. Trio 360 is actually, it's my wife's favorite thing. So I highly recommend it, especially if you enjoy having a personal life. So Trio 360 has made us much more effective at booking guests for our marketing events. Like I said before, it turns our 5-host team into a 50-host team, because now I can send out a huge, far-reaching text campaign that is easily managed for all of the questions that come back. The flow is simple. I can even book your room and assign you tickets through Trio 360 at the click of a button. What used to take a week to call every single person and get them all engaged now can be done in a couple hours. And that's from beginning to end and answering all follow-up questions. So Trio 360 hasn't just helped us support our guests, it's also helped us support our own team. So a lot of the he said, she said stuff that you run into with any host program is now essentially completely eliminated. So if you have a guest who claims, oh, this host told me that I could have a spa day today, I can pull up a conversation and say, no, they said you could have a pedicure, but I'm happy to help you with that. And there's actually been so many times where Trio 360 has saved us. We have had guests, one time in particular, where a guest came in and claimed we were told that we were gonna get 6 tickets to this show and you guys were gonna comp our rooms and all of these things, and it was promised to us. And they even brought it up to like the higher management, and it was a big ordeal. And we went into Trio 360, pulled up their entire conversation they've had with all of our guests, hit print, and showed it right to our management. They could say, oh, well, they actually told you this, and you said you understood, and you said they do the best they could, and it said, okay, well, we hope it works out. So you understood there. And that's one example of times where that happens constantly as a host, where people will overreach and try and say, I was told this, when in actuality, they weren't. Now you have a very simple, clear, transparent way of tracking all that, so you know what's being said to guests at all times. So there are lots of things I could talk about of why I love Trio 360, the text queues, managing workflow, even assigning show tickets. But the thing that's the most incredible is booking a room. Booking a room is amazing. Before, to give you an idea of how we would do it, I'd be on the phone, schmoozing, talking to the guests, and then, hey, I get an extra trip. Awesome. Now my work really starts. It's all administrative stuff. I have to call down to the reservation line, wait in the reservation queue, then talk to a reservation agent, get the room set up. They'll give me a confirmation. Then I'll call the guest back or text them or email them. And then that's done. That whole process took about 10 to 15 minutes. Now with Trio 360, I can set the reservation in under 30 seconds. Then when it's done, I'll get a little notification saying it's complete, and with 2 clicks, I can send you the confirmation through text or email, and we're done. So that allows me to do what I do best, which is to talk to guests, to go out and smooth, to try and get those extra trips, and I'm not bogged down with all the administrative work. And going from 15 minutes for booking a trip to 30 seconds allows me to really get through my day and to bring more trips in. And that is incredibly valuable. Basically, any casino that has a host program has to have Trio 360. It's the way of the future. There's no going back to what we were. I knew as soon as we started using Trio 360 that it's one of those programs where you think, I don't know how I could live without this. And it just allows us to get so much work done so fast, so easily. And any casino that has a host program simply has to have Trio.